Hello, fellow citizens, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Elfie, just a girly pop trying to figure out this Star Citizen thing. And today, we're starting a very exciting new series called Exploring Pyro. Now, the whole purpose of this series is that I wanted to explore Pyro without getting absolutely murked by pirates. So, I'm bringing my friend Lee, and he's bringing his Idris. We're packing the hangar full of ships so that we can do pretty much whatever we want while we're out there, as well as a bunch of supplies so that we don't actually have to go back to Stanton for anything for the next 30 days or so. And during this time, I want to see as many outposts, stations, and just anywhere that's pretty in nature. I also want to collect as many different outfits that I find cute, and any kind of collectibles that I think I might need in the future. So, let's get into our big travel day. It was the first day of patch, so I decided to switch it up from the pigtail braids and go for more of a Karen cut. I also wanted to show my loyalty to the penguins, so I chose New Babbage. And since Star Citizen so graciously put everything into my storage, I had to set up all of my furniture again. Everything was thankfully a little bit easier to put down, and everything looked pretty good when it was done. I also realized I had a paint in my inventory for my Mercury Star Runner, so I decided to put it on, and I thought that it was okay at first, but then the more I walked around, the more I hated it. So, I'm still on the hunt for a really pretty one like I mentioned in my last video, if anyone has any recommendations. In any case, I took my favorite train ride into the city so that I could go pick up a couple of different things for our trip. I've been doing a bunch of running around with the Onyx facility missions and other contracts to try to make some money before the trip, and I needed to take a minute to relax. It's really hard for a new player going into Pyro knowing that there's a lot of crime, and I'm not really too familiar with how crime stats work, so I decided to take a second to just breathe. And once I was over it, I went to Twins to go grab a couple of different sandwiches, and I know that they don't give you buffs, but I kinda like the immersion of just having these for fun. I was running around trying to find a gun store when I noticed this staircase that I didn't find during my Exploring New Babbage video. And I find this entire Apple-like store where it's totally empty just for a couple of different items. But I did end up buying one of these casings because I do like adding color to my outfits. This was also really random, but you can sell your med pens here, so I guess I do have a place to bring all of the things I've been looting in the Onyx. I stopped at Elroy's to buy a couple of different drinks because water gives hydration, and all of these cruise or luxe drinks give food and hydration. And then I headed back to Lee's hangar so that we could load up all the boxes and cargo containers that we needed for our trip into the Idris, and watching this thing come up was pretty majestic because this is going to be home for a couple of weeks. And I wasted no time because I have little legs and we have a lot of boxes to load up. My plan was to put all of these bigger boxes up in the cargo holding area and hold one down in the hangar so that we could have easy access, food, and whatever we need. Everything was going great taking things off of this elevator. But then when I got to this other side, I decided I want to have a conversation with whoever designed the Idris because I want to know why this low-hanging thing is in front of an elevator that's meant to have cargo. It was definitely wedged in there pretty good, and I could not get it to move. Once we had all of the boxes situated except for that one that I just kinda left in there, I went down to my storage to go pick out a cute outfit so that I had something to wear for pictures when we found the more habitable places in Pyro. Then I went back to my hangar, put on my big girl panties, and put a storage container into my ship knowing that I will not crash, so that I could go get some more supplies at Port Tressler before meeting up with Lee in space to put my ship into his hangar. It was a bright and sunny day flying into Port Tressler, so there were no issues finding the hangar or landing. This was a good sign knowing that I would have to be flying quite a bit during this trip to Pyro. I walked into the armor store and ended up finding the magazines in the kiosk here, so I ended up getting a couple of P4AR magazines for myself, and some Parallax rifle batteries for Lee. And the next stop was the cargo area where they actually had these cruise luxe drinks, so I bought 100 of them because they were good for food and hydration. And of course I can never resist the famous double dog when I run by it. So remember I put my outfit and all of my little snacks into the container in my ship, knowing that I wasn't going to crash? Well, I did store my ship, and I called it in up top, which I guess maybe I should have called it in down here, but it was glitched through the floor, and I didn't really know what to do. When I went to the fleet terminal to hopefully try to store it again, it only gave me the option to claim. So I lost my box with my outfit and all my little sandwiches. But to be fair, I don't think it was my fault this time. I'm not going to complain because I'm probably going to find better clothes in Pyro anyway, but it was still a little disappointing. And of course, Lee had packed this hangar with as many ships possible, so it was a little interesting trying to land. I think I did an okay job, but it definitely has some room for improvement.
Landing complete.
I loaded up all of the drinks and ammo that I just bought into the one hangar box we had. That way we have a quick place to either reload, restock, or just grab things on our way out of the ship. Before jumping to Pyro, we took a quick stop at the Pyro gateway station. That way we could grab a couple of last minute things that we needed, and I just wanted to check it out because I had never actually been here and explored before. I stopped at the juice bar to grab a couple of these smoothies because they are also good for both food and hydration. And then I went on a quick little walk throughout the station just to check it out. It had pretty much a lot of the same things that they had throughout Stanton, like this Elroy's, the pizza place that doesn't sell pizza, the cargo shop with a bunch of different shoes, armors, and some outfits, and the cute little shop in the refinery area. But for once, I didn't really buy much. I was truly just ready to go check out Pyro and all of the new stuff that I was gonna go get. I was waiting in the captain's seat for quite a while trying to get some good shots of the Idris, but then Lee finally told me that it was a 10-minute wait, so we actually had to get off and go to a different server. But of course I got distracted and needed to go get a burrito before we went back to the ship. And this is probably one of the coolest things that you can do in any video game, so I'm going to leave this footage here. And our first stop is going to be Ruin Station, which orbits Terminus, otherwise known as Pyro 6. We'll be exploring the planet a little bit more in detail in my next video, but this was a journey for sure. The planet itself looked very pretty at first, and I grabbed my little Drake cutter just to head down to the station while Lee would stay with the Idris. I just wanted to explore a little bit and kind of see what the stations are like in Pyro aside from the Stanton Gateway Station. And I felt like I did a pretty okay job backing out of here, but it definitely could be a little bit better without the bumps. The asteroid belts out here are really cool looking, but I was definitely experiencing some kind of paranoia thinking that I was gonna hit a rock on the way. The station itself looked really pretty on the outside with all of the lights, but I'm kind of curious how the inside looks considering it's named Ruin Station. It was a little dark coming into the station trying to find my hangar, but shout out to whoever told me to continuously scan because I was also afraid of hitting some of the antennas and turrets. After surprisingly making it to my hangar without hitting anything, I was able to land pretty smoothly and no issues here. When I got off the elevator at the main entryway, it was actually a different vibe, but very cool. Kind of run down, but these little tables were cute, and I thought it would be cool if they could sell things at them. But this one guy over here was selling Carafee packets, which I don't know if I've seen before in Stanton, and I figured during this trip I want to get as many of everything as I can so that I have it just in case I need it in the future. Walking around the station, you could definitely tell there was a lot of lore and something must have happened here. I also got really excited when I found these tables because they were selling a bunch of different attachments and cosmetic items and just a bunch of different things, which is kind of cool and different from Stanton. I didn't find anything else as far as shops goes on the main entry level, but I did find a ship dealer, so I headed there next. And I was actually pretty shocked. For as janky as this place looks, they actually have a ton of different options for ground vehicles and ships and something like this. I've never actually seen a space motorcycle looking thing, but it was also very reasonably priced like everything else here. And there was nothing really out of reach. You could pretty much afford anything in here with just a couple of cargo runs. And even over here, there was this giant tank that I thought was just on display, but it's actually a buyable item. I didn't actually know if there was anything that you could use this for, like missions or maybe PvP, but it's kind of cool to learn about things that you don't even know exist in Star Citizen. I took a look at the kiosk, and I wasn't going to buy a ship because I didn't want to blow all of my money on day one, but if you are in the market for a vehicle, definitely come check out Ruin Station because they have a huge dealership. Next, I went to the refinery area to see if there was any shops, and this big sign told me that there were. Now, don't get me wrong, I was tempted to jump over whatever this is, but I have learned my lesson too many times. So I decided to go around the long way, and what do you know? There's actually a shop 2 feet from the entryway, which was really nice, and it wasn't gonna get me lost in here. When I walked further into the store, it became apparent that there are definitely a lot of people living here, so I'm kind of more interested to learn about that lore and why they're all here. There was a bunch of outfits on display, but I figured it was too dark to really see if I liked things or not, so I took a shot in the dark with the kiosk. I got the very colorful hazard suit and matching helmet, and I figured why not get the blue one as well. I got one of the day one shirts that I really like, but in black, and I don't remember seeing black before. There wasn't much left in that store that I really liked, and so I headed down to the cargo area, which had a different looking shop, don't get me wrong. But I ended up getting these shirts that actually looked like they were made for women in this game. So I got a pink one and a yellow one. And then I got these Valencia wafers, which I'm not really sure if they're supposed to be protective or just kind of civilian clothes, but we'll see. They were cute. They didn't have too much in terms of armor or undersuits, so I just kind of wanted to explore the rest of the station a bit. I went back to the entrance area because I didn't explore the right side, and there were a couple of more tables, but there wasn't anything else for sale that I could see. When I went further in here, I realized that there was probably more to the story. There's a bunch of people who obviously live here, and I assume that down below is where they might live, but I couldn't go explore it deeper because I didn't see a way down, so I didn't actually see a way up. It was definitely a little different than Stanton, but it was quite interesting because there really wasn't anyone here except for all of these AI. There were no other players, and I didn't actually see anyone since I've been in Pyro. Which, to be fair, I probably do want to just be left alone in Pyro. Another thing to note is that Lee did end up docking so that he could refuel, and they do have extra large hangars here. If you have any recommendations for things to do or see in or around Terminus, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll go explore it. If you like new players Star Citizen content, be sure to like and subscribe to support the channel. And I post new videos every Sunday and Thursday. So until next time, Elfie out.